And David Hafstadter spoke, and the Dafka did it in France because they said that in France, I was in Paris to cover the Siyum for Dirshu, and there was a tremendous Torah revolution that happened in France. An unbelievable thing. There wasn't a lot of Daf Yomi in the past, and now another 50, 60 shiurim opened up in France since the Daf Yomi, and people who never learned Gemara before are learning Daf Yomi every single day. And because of that, so Dirshu decided to hold Siyumim in France. So David spoke today in Paris, and he said the following thing, and I feel that it's very matim to start off the evening with this incredible idea, personal idea that he said. Shner Kotler, Rosh Yeshiva of Lakewood, said, and then he said to Rav David, do you think it's just for a week? Siyum Berachos, the Chassan Ben Melech? And Rav David didn't know what to say. He wasn't sure where Rav Shner was going with this. And then Rav Shner said to him, no. Chassan, it's not L'melech, it's not now for a week, it's not for a month. It's for your entire life. You're going to be a chassan, you're going to be a melech for your entire life. Where? In your house, he said. You're going to be the king in your house if you treat your wife correctly, and she's the queen. You're going to be a king. And Rav David said this at the Kenis to the Magid Shurim. He said today in Paris, he said, Rabbi Sai, you are the kings of your shiur. Just like the chassan becomes the king of his house, the Magid Shir becomes the king of his shir. And therefore, right now, I would like to introduce the Melech, the Arisha B'Chabura, the Melech of the Shir, the Magid Shir of Eli, to come and make the Siyum. Melech, Melech, Melech. Nachman. Where's Judah? Not there. Okay. I was told to hold my remarks until the end. I don't know, some surprise or something. I don't know. Tonight's evening is being sponsored. A third of it is being sponsored by a very good friend of mine, and his wife is a very good friend of my wife's, and his daughter Bruchi is a very good friend with my daughter Eliza, the Weiss family from Chicago. So it's sponsored Leilu Nishmas Naftali Hertz Ben Meir Zechron Levracha, whose yahrzeit is tonight. The other third is sponsored by me in honor of my wife. And the final third is sponsored by me in honor of my children. So I have to leave a little bit. I didn't prepare that much to make two speeches, but tonight is a very special and unique Siyum. It's the first time that I've started and finished the Masechta and gave over the daf without missing a day, without any substitutes. Usually we have these amazing substitutes, Noam Fix and Renat Mata. You're going to hear plenty from them in Masechet Shabbos. What else? It's been an amazing journey. We started brachas, and things started getting out of hand. We had 16,000 people join the WhatsApp group, the 8-minute daf, and now we have about 2,000 people that watch the daily shir in various media and YouTube and the WhatsApp and the website and Torah anytime v'chulu. It's the first time that people flew in from America. They're not allowed to be here tonight. I don't know of anybody here that flew in tonight, but we know of at least 2 people that flew in special for the Siyum. And people from all of Eretz Yisrael are here tonight. We have people from Arnov,
from Efrat, from Gimel, people that watch online. We have somebody from down the block who can't make it. So it's a very special occasion. All our Siyumim really were in our living room at home. We once had a Siyum in Prushim, but nothing to this. This is amazing to see the amount of people, and I recognize everybody besides a couple of people that came from out of town. So it's been an amazing journey and a very, very special occasion, and a really, really big part of why the Siyum is so special to me. And I'm not kidding, last night I cried for a long time. And today, the beginning of the Shir, when I started Shir and I read Lauren's email, also I started crying. And I'll read one over here. Shavua Tov. I hope to contain myself here. I don't want to embarrass my wife. Shavua Tov to the Chabura of Daf Yomi Ramat Shemesh. Rebelli, thank you for inspiring every day to learn about the Daf and about the Yomi. I started crying with joy and singing and dancing when we learned the last line of Brachos 64. It's the first time I ever finished a Masechta. It means the world. For obvious reasons, time zone difference, I learned it via replay. So I just finished here in Aventura, Florida. Toda Rabba, Givaldik, thank you, Danny Baum. And this is one of 7 emails that I received last night of people that have never made a Siyum in their life. And even if they did, it was 20, 30 years ago. And it's a tremendous chizuk for me. It's very inspiring and it's amazing. And I really hope that chizuk continues throughout Shas. Omer Rebbe Lazar, Omer Rebbe Chanina. Very famous Gemara, we say it almost every day. Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom ba'olam. Talmidei Chachamim increase peace in this world. Shenemar v'chol banayich v'mudei adinoi v'rav shalom banoich. Al trikri banoich ela boinoich. Sometimes you could take a word as it's said and you read it differently and it has a different meaning, as long as the meaning is within the word. So Banayich, your children, you could change to Banayich, the builders. So the Talmidei Chacham are the builders of this world. Shalom roiv, lo yavei sarasecha, ve'ein lo me'michshal, yihi shalom b'chelach shalva b'armanesoyich, leman achai v're'oi adabrin al shalom bach. Oh, where's Judah? Leman, no, this is spontaneous. Anything about this? Yoi, leman achai v're'oi. Start a new minute.
We have 40 people on the live stream. 40 people watching.
There are 40 people online right now watching. Amazing. All right. It's actually the same amount as we had this morning. Because the speaker told me it's the 39 melachas, 40 minus 1. Okay. So we have this minute that when we get to a pasuk, we sing it. So I guess this will be the last one for a while. We're starting, women, Masechtas Shabbos doesn't have a lot of songs in it. Leman achai v're'oi yadabin shalom bach, leman beis adinoi leheinu avak shetoiv loch, adinoi oiz lamoy yitein, adinoi vorech esamei v'shaloi. Hadron Allah Charoya Uslikalo Masechtas Berachos. Hadron Allah Charoya Uslikalo Masechtas Berachos. Hadron Allah Charoya Uslikalo Masechtas Berachos. Hadron Allah Masechtas Berachos. V'hadron Chalon Daiton Allah Masechtas Berachos. Daiton Allah Daiton Chalon Lo Yitzishim Minach Masechtas Berachos. Lo Yitzishim Minach Lo B'Amad Dem Lo B'Amad Osi. Hadron Allah Masechtas Berachos. V'hadron Chalon Daiton Allah Masechtas Berachos. Daiton Chalon Lo Yitzishim Minach Masechtas Berachos. Lo Yitzishim Minach Lo B'Amad Dem Lo B'Amad Osi. Hadron Allah Masechtas Berachos v'Hadron Chalon. Daiton Allah Masechtas Berachos v'Daiton Chalon. V'Nitzishim Minach Masechtas Berachos v'Nitzishim Minach L'Ba'amadem v'L'Ba'amadasi. Yosem Knachad Yinoi Leihenu v'Le'av Yisenu. Sh'teraschu Minosenu B'Elam Azel Se'imonu Le'Elam Abach. Chanina B'Papa, Romi B'Papa, Nachman B'Papa, Achoi B'Papa, B'Mori B'Papa, Rafim B'Papa, B'Rochash B'Papa, Sucha B'Papa, Adi B'Papa, Dor B'Papa. Hayr B'No Adi Yinoi Le'Nis Divis Yeroscho B'Finu B'Fir Samcha B'Yisrael B'Ni An Kulonu Anachim B'Tzatzeinu B'Tzatzeinu B'Chol Yisrael Kulonu Yedi Shemecha V'Lo Yedi Soresecha V'Oivit Techakmeinu B'Tzisecha V'Oilum Hili Ki B'Yison K'Kukecha L'man Lo Yivoish V'Oilum Le'Ishkach K'Kukecha K'Ibom K'Yisoni Baruch Atah Adinoi Lamdeni K'Kukecha Amen 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 Tzel V'Oed Moedim Anachnu L'Fenoch Adinoi Le'Hinu V'Le'av Yisenu Shesam D'Chakenu V'Yesh B'Yis HaMedrash V'Lesam D'Chakenu V'Yesh Kirones Shonim Mashkim V'Yim Mashkim Onu Mashkim D'Vitori V'Yim Mashkim D'Var Metelim Onu Amelim V'Yim Amelim Onu Amelim Kam Socha V'Yim Amelim V'Yim Kam Socha Onu Rotzim V'Yim Rotzim Onu Rotzim V'Chaylam Abo V'Yim Rotzim V'Shachas Shnem V'Atolim Toridim V'Shachas and Shidom V'Yim V'Bo Rotzim V'Fenoch Adinu L'Hai Shim Shazatan Etzayim Mesechtas Berachos Kin Ta'azinu L'Hadchil Mesechtas Sfor V'Chayim L'Saimom Limoid L'Lam Lishmo V'Lasis L'Kayim Skol D'Vit Tamot V'Secho B'Havo U'Schus Kol HaKtanoim V'Amiroim V'Tamidi Chacham Yam L'Nizari Sh'Tom Shatom Yipim Gizari V'Zera Zari Adri Lom וסחוס כל התנועים והמרואים תלמידי חכמים יעמוד לי ולזרי שתומו שהתור מפי ומפי זרי וזרע זרי עד אילום וסחוס כל התנועים והמרואים תלמידי חכמים יעמוד לי ולזרי. You hear that? ותצחיים בי וסעליך חותנך איסוך בשוך וחודש מועליך והקיצוי סו והיסי שיחך כי ויהי ביומך ויסיפו לך שני שחיים אורך יום בימינו בשמאל אויש וחובד Adinoi Oiz Lamo Yitein, Adinoi Vorech Samei V'Shalom.
I'm from he says hi.
Everybody, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov.
There you go.
Mazel Tov.
Come here today, all the Chicago boys.
Mazel tov, Shkepper. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. More live. Big.
Everybody, please take your seats so we can continue the evening. Everybody, please have a seat so we can. The waiters are also going to bring out the first course, and we are going to continue with our program. The next speaker is a very chashuv member of the shir. Everybody please sit down. Thank you. Thank you so much. In order for the evening to run smoothly, everybody please sit down. We have a lot of speakers, a lot of speakers today.
Short speeches.
Short speeches, yes. One after the next.
8-minute speeches. Less than 8 minutes.
You wish. Okay, give a guy a mic. All right. Our next speaker holds a very prominent place in the shir, and everything that he does in life, he does it l'meitav kocho, to the best of his abilities. As a person who teaches in a seminary, I can attest to this. Baruch Hashem, I've watched it grow, become greater and greater to the point where mamish, the demand is much greater than the ability to provide. Baruch Hashem, there's so many people wanting to come. And just like in his private life and in the seminary, Rabbi Noah Fix took the shir as a personal goal to watch it grow. And from the beginning, he put his heart and his soul into the development of the shir. And in the beginning, months ago, a year and a half ago, and I asked him, I said, Noam, what's the plan? What's your plan? I see you have a plan. What's going on, Noam? Noam, I said, what's going on? What's the plan? What's going on, Noam? What do you? And he said to me, there's so many people, he said, who really need this shir. And I want them all to be part of it. I want them to be part of this shir, and I feel it's going to bring so much to them. And he had this vision in his mind of what it could be. And I said to him recently, I said, Nu, do you feel that the vision was maximized? And he said, it happened much quicker than I thought. But yes, we are on the way to what he envisioned. And I have to tell everybody that according to the way it seems, the projections that we have, our analysts projecting, that by the time we're halfway through Shas, I think we're going to need Binyanei Oma, L'choira, the ballroom of Binyanei Oma. That's what. Without further ado, Rabbi Noah Fix.
All right, Nachman, I'll get you back. We'll try to keep it short because I do know the schedule of events and how many people plan on speaking. First of all, there are mugs up here, provided, the daily giveaway, provided by the DAF, one per family, so this is not just for looks, so please come up and get your mug after. We thought it's appropriate. It has the America's Daf Yomi logo, and the line is, it's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi and the coffee. That's for you. One of the most famous lines in U.S. history is the following line, and you'll all know it as soon as I begin it.
It's not about you. Kennedy.
That's coming up. That's the jacket.
I have a dream. Why is that statement such a famous, popular, powerful statement? And I think a line like I have a dream, number one, sparks imagination. Number two, it explores the unknown. And number three, it creates initiative. I have a dream sparks your imagination, it explores the unknown, and it creates an initiative. There's no more appropriate ending of Maseches Brachos for our shir than the sugya of dreams. We spent 2 daf exploring, expressing, understanding the meaning of dreams. And the Gemara discusses in detail the meaning of the dreams, how they express themselves, and how they manifest. Rabbi Sai, we are here tonight living a dream. As Rabbi Eli pointed out, the shir 2 years ago, starting from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people, and albeit grew rather rapidly, but I don't think anybody imagined that we would be sitting every single day, 75 people in the morning. We outgrew the place before we even finished building it. Another 20, 25 people at night, over 100 people every single day live in shir. Nobody dreamed 2 years ago that we would have our own building. Nobody dreamed that we would have 2,000 hits every single day for the 45-minute daf. Nobody dreamed that we would be on Torah anytime. And nobody, in their wildest dreams, thought that there would be a global initiative called the 8-Minute Daf that has upwards of 15,000 subscribers. So I want to suggest the following thing. Haroeh Eli Bechalom. Stop coming to shir. If you start dreaming about him, that's bad news. But Haroeh Eli, every time you look at him, it has to be a reminder, Rabbi Sai, for every single one of us of what one person can accomplish when they put their mind to something. What one individual can create and can revolutionize and can create into a world that didn't exist from sheer desire and burning passion. The sky is the limit. And you can break your glass ceilings. We are each limitless, and we just have to chase our dreams. But this event is also a mechayev. It's not going to be just waxing prose about Eli. The Vilna Gaon discusses the difference between the words sason and simcha. And he quotes, Meichem b'tzeisam v'sasim bevoam. There's two types of simcha expressed. There's a simcha after you accomplish something. That's called a sason. Sason means, sasim bevoam, the ma'oros are happy after they return doing the Ratzon Hashem. They're happy, they feel accomplished. Rabbi said tonight is a sason. We accomplished. And when I say we, I'm referring to both sides of the hall. We accomplished. We accomplished 60 plus daf of every day, day in, day out, coming in. Day in, day out, dealing with Eli's emails. Day in, day out, learning in between. We accomplished. But this is also a simcha, says the Vilna Gaon, a simcha. Smeichim b'seisam is when you're excited about what you're about to go out and do. You're excited about what the future holds. That is a simcha. When you go to a wedding, it's a simcha, not just because they passed the dating stage, because we're excited for their future. What will the future hold? What's going to be? Rabbi said tonight's a mechayev because tonight is a simcha. Our shir follows a very, very interesting parallel of the Sfarim. Sefer Berachos began with the individuals. It began with Yechidim. Yechidim that stood out and built themselves. Our shir began with a few Yechidim. Albeit it grew quickly, but it began with Yechidim and grew and grew and grew. Then came Sefer Shmos. And Sefer Shmos is when we became a nation. We became a tribe. And beyond the tribe, we built a Mishkan, Rabbi Sai. We have here now tonight become a tribe. We have become a nation. And we have built our Mishkan. And then comes Sefer Vayikra. Vice Rav Nissim Kaplan Shlita is here. After Sefer Shmos and the building of the Mishkan comes Sefer Vayikra. And Sefer Vayikra is all about the Korbanos. It's about the Avoda, the work, the 6 days a week, 7 days a week, day to day, toil. And after we became a nation here, and we became a tribe, and we built our little Mikdash Me'at, America's Daf Yomi, the only America's Daf that I know in the world, now it's time for us to buckle down. With Shabbos, Erevin, and day to day, do our avoda. Day to day, the harder avodas, the lesser avodas, the more difficult avodas. Brachos was an intro. It was the appetizer. And now comes the real work. And Rabbi said there's no more appropriate time to take on this Kabbalah than tonight, holding by Erev Purim, where Klal Yisrael, V'kimu v'kiblu, say Chazal, that is the Torah Shebel Peh, that they were Mekabel Be'ahava. We're sitting here tonight celebrating the Siyum Berachos, but being Mekabel on ourselves, Erev Purim Mamish, like the Yehudim, a Kabbalah Satorah of Torah Shebiksav Be'ahava, because our shir is all about Ahava, and that anybody that comes or watches from afar can attest to. Let's dare to dream. Let's dare to commit ourselves here and now, Ke'ish echad b'leiv echad, just like Klal Yisrael did then, to be mekabel our commitment of Torah Shebel Peh. Let's dare to dream. I'm referring to men and women, to overcome the day-to-day obstacles that we have in attending the daf, the day-to-day obstacles that come up that are very, very legitimate, that are very, very justified. But let's dare to dream, to explore the unknown, and to create. And just like the Jews committed themselves back in Shushan to Kabbalah Satorah again, Ki'ish echad b'leiv echad, the Torah Shebel Peh, and that brought about, not so far after the Binyan Beis Hamikdash, Emir Hashem here tonight, as we sit here and we celebrate also a Sason, but also a Simcha, we'll celebrate a Kabbalah on ourselves, to break and to be Mekabel the Torah and Mekabel the next Kabbalah, so that Emir Hashem, through our little Kabbalah, from our small shir that's growing and expanding leaps and bounds, Emir Hashem, this chus of our shir tonight, men and women, it'll be the coming of the Binyan Abayis HaShlishi b'mehera b'yameinu amen.
Thank you very much, Rav Noam. We couldn't have said it better ourselves. The glass ceilings, and now we learned recently in the Gemara, Rabbi Rav Yosef, we learned there are many different ways of learning. There are people who learn slow, people who learn fast, people who know everything, and people who focus on Ian. And there are people who, over the years, I'm sure we've all heard, Daf Yomi, me, what? You don't know anything. That's not learning. And how many people haven't learned because they've heard a line like that, and they said, what? I should do this. People knock it. And tonight, we have a speaker. He's going to give us a very short a very short few minutes, telling us how his mindset changed. It went from Daf Yomi, what shaykhis, to Daf Yomi, a whole brand new look and approach. I would like to invite Rabbi Ari Rosenstein to please come up and give a few words.
That beautiful introduction. Actually, was going to begin my introduction by saying that I was probably the last person that should have spoken tonight at Daf Yomi. In fact, the first year of Daf Yomi I ever attended was Berachos Daf Beis Amud Aleph about 64 days ago. And not only that, yeah, it's not the first Torah I ever learned in my life, but there's like anti-vaxxers, there are, anti-Trumpers. So I was an anti-daffer. I was an anti-daffer my entire life. As Nachman just introduced, I said, I think of the daf as those old balabotim sitting in the back, dozing off, day and fast, no chazara, fast. Like I say, after 7.5 years, yashkoyach, you start all over again and do it for the first time. So the fact was that there was a couple of my friends, there was, you may have heard of him, Noam Fix, and Avi Kamiensky, and about a year ago they started bugging me and they were saying, we've got this geschmack here. We got great coffee and Siyumim with barbecues and we get handouts and we sing, we do all this great stuff. And he said, you should really come. So I said, conversation went something like this, each of them separately. And I said, honestly, if they weren't serving the coffee and giving the barbecues at the Siyumim, would you have 70 guys in this year? And they said, Cain, Velo, Varafa, Yadayim, I don't know. They couldn't give me a straight answer of how Gishmak this year would have been if there wasn't coffee being served every morning and barbecues for the Siyumim. Okay. So, time goes on. About 3 months ago, the Siyum Hashas fever kicks into the Torah world. And my style of learning had always been Amud Yomi. Amud Yomi Chabura for 15 years. I've been doing Amud Yomi 5 days a week. Chazara on Shabbos, every 20 daf, Chazara. At the end of the Masechta, Chazara. Nice and slow. You cover some ground. 15 years, we've done about half of Shas. So another 15 years, not so bad, I'm a young guy. But then Daf Yomi fever struck at the Siyum Hashas. And I figured, I was kind of curious to see how good the coffee really was. And I'd done brachos years ago, not in the Amud Yomi program. I thought, maybe it's not a bad chance to start a little chazar on brachos. I'll see what this whole program's about. So I spoke to Noam and to Avi, and they said, we're doing this great Siyum Hashas. You should come to this new Merkaz Daf. And I said, I've never been a single day of the Daf. I don't feel comfortable showing up for the party. They said, show up for the party. It's okay. Show up for the party, and you'll see. And in Taka, it was a very good party. I'm like, if this is what the Daf, Merkaz Daf is all about, I think I'll be in. I think this is good. Three-course meal. Everything is fantastic. So next morning, Berachos Daf Beis Amud Aleph, I show up, and they were right. The coffee was very good. Yoshua was walking around serving. I think there was cake and cookies being served. Ellie started reading emails. We were schmoozing. There was some laughing. I think we learned like maybe 30 minutes. But it was geschmack. And this went on, day in and day out. I'm like, this is good. I could do this. This is okay. And then something clicked. I said, well, wait a minute. In the beginning, it was 70 guys. I'm like, like every single shir, you start with 20. By the second, third day, it goes down to a minyan. By the third day, you've got a mezumin. And then maybe you've got a chavrusa by the end of the week. And there were 70 guys. And I noticed that every single seat, every makom kavua was the same makom kavua weeks in. And I was the newbie, and I couldn't find a seat until I find the corner in the side or the right. I stuck in, I got my little makom kavua, which also still moved day to day. I said, something's going on here. For a month, 2 months, every single day, guys are moser nefesh, they're kviyas itim, getting out of the house. We're all busy, guys. We have to change our carpool schedules. Our wives have to step up and take over and let the guys go out and learn. Night times, Motzei Shabbos, Friday mornings, I'm a biker. One of my best friends, I lost Avi Kaminsky. He used to bike with me on Friday mornings. And he's like, I got the daf. I'm like, you'll do the daf later. Ellie's recording it. Like, you'll do the daf. Okay, so you won't get the coffee fresh from Yoshua. You'll get And I was like, Mispah, I said, the Kaviyas Itim and Mesiras Nefesh and these guys is Mamish Kihem Chayenu Ve'arach Yemenu. Every single day, Yomam V'layla. I said that this shows the Iker and the Tafel. We learned in Brachos a few prakim ago that there's always going to be Iker and Tafel. There's always Iker and Tafel. And how do you know which is the Iker and which is the Tafel on Allah? You make the bracha. You make the bracha on the Iker. So I can guarantee, I know every single guy in this room that's enjoying the coffees and making the Birchas Torah before they make the Shahakal. That's the Iker. The Torah is the Iker. The coffee is Bishmak. It really is good. We've got 2 cappuccino machines. We've got fresh Folgers every single month, like buckets of Folgers coffee are coming in from the States. It is good, but you know what? That's the Geschmackheit that you get through going through something like this. Now, it's a Birchas Hedjo for me to say we should all be zocha to continue to have this Kaviyasitim and this Mesiras Nefesh. Kol hakavod to the women that allow the husbands to go and Mr. Motzi Shabbos and their Sunday mornings. And those days that they really would like their husbands to take carpool, or it's raining and I'm getting a call at 8 o'clock and it's raining, my kid's got to get to school. I'm like, I can't, I'm in the daf. And it's a new experience for me. Like I'm not holding there yet. So it's been a little bit too much. 64 daf is a lot. I'm gonna have to bail out for Shabbos. I've done it like a dozen times. So I'm gonna do Nida. I'm gonna back up, do a little bit of Nida I missed. But Zrat Hashem, I'll meet you all at Eruvin, and it should all continue from Michayel Chayel, continue to grow and learn Torah.
Oh, we have a very special, the next part of the program is very special. I don't know if there's been any Siyum around the world that has this, but there is, besides for the many, many unique components and elements in this year, and there are many, like huge amount, but there's something very special, and that is the fact that every single day there are numerous children who join us. They come in the morning, and there are children who come at night, and there are bachurim, and some of them sit next to their fathers, and some of them sit on the balcony, and they come and they learn. And it's not a game, and it's not because it's like the thing to do. They really enjoy it, and they steig. And so we've decided to have a token representative that 3 children give very short speeches, representative of the other children in the daf, in the chabura. And I'd like to start off with the first one, and that is my son Yutzvi, who comes every single day, sits next to me.
Hallelujah Hashem Gogoyim Shabachu Ka'omim. Why does the pasuk seem to repeat itself, mentioning that the Goyim will praise Hashem, and following that by telling us that the Umim will do the same? The Mefarshim explain the double lashon in the following way. When it says that the Goyim will praise Hashem, it's for the many times they tried to destroy us and failed. And we know about those miracles, and so do the Goyim who praise Hashem for saving us. When it says that the Umim praise Hashem, that is referring to times when we didn't even know the Goyim were trying to harm us, and we can say a similar message about this year. Here a person could praise the shir and the Magid shir for the obvious reasons, because he gives such a great shir, and because so many people are learning every day. But we can also praise the shir for reasons that people do not know about and which are not obvious. For example, it's hard for me to convince myself to sit down and learn since my Yetzer Hara tells me not to do it. But when it comes to the shir, even my Yetzer Hara enjoys it and wants to come to hear about it.
His father's an author.
Which is why I don't have a hard time coming to hear the shir every morning. And so I want to thank him for helping me want to learn something which isn't an obvious thing, but is definitely true. Besides for everything else, it's also special for me to come to the shir with my father and my brother every day and learn Torah together with them. I just want to take this moment to thank Rav Eli for all his dedication to the shir and to Klal Yisrael, and to wish him hatzlacha in everything that he will do in the future.
And we have a little token of appreciation to all the boys who come. For everyone who comes, we have a special watch, a share watch.
Explain what it is.
It has the logo of the Merkaz Lafiyami on the band. It's something very special, very unique to all the boys who are part of our share. Our next speaker, I happen to know him already for a while. He was in the choir before I stopped the choir. And I always looked at him as a boy that I always said, I didn't know about the learning, but I said, this kid has such potential and such inner strength. Really an amazing kid, amazing boy. And I want to introduce Akiva Solway to come up and say a few words.
Good evening and welcome to our Siyum Berachos. My name is Akiva Salway. I am 11 years old and I go to Torah Moshe School. I am proud to be here tonight and a card-carrying member of Rabbi Eli Stefanski's Daf Yomi Shir. Gemara Bracha on Daf Yud Zayin Amud Beis says, Omar le Rav le Rabbi Chia, Nashim b'mai zachin. Rav said to Rabbi Chia, what actions do women do to merit Olam Haba? Ba'kriya b'naihu li b'kanishta. They take their children to shul to learn Chumash. Uvasnuya gavrayahu be'Rabbanan, and through sending their husbands to the Beis Midrash to learn Mishnah and Gemara. V'natan le gavrayu ad asami be'Rabbanan, and waiting for their husbands until they return home from the Beis Midrash. I'd like to thank my mother for driving me to Daf Yomi class every day. I appreciate you taking me and supporting me in my Torah learning. May you have a lifetime of Yiddish nachas from me and all of the family. Next, I would like to ask the audience, what is the most current event in the news today?
Corona.
Exactly, coronavirus. So you're probably thinking, what does coronavirus have to do with our Siyum tonight on Maseches Berachos? I would like to compare the symptoms of coronavirus to symptoms of someone who attends Rabbi Stefanski's shir. The first symptom of coronavirus is coughing. I've noticed a lot of people coughing, usually when they stand next to me, and then I realize that they want me to get out of their seat. Second symptom of coronavirus is fever. I can only speak for myself, but I can sincerely say that I feverishly wait for Daf Yomi class every day. Finally, the third symptom is shortness of breath. I've noticed many people running into Daf Yomi shir with this symptom, usually a few minutes after shir has begun. Basically, Rabbi Stefanski's Daf Yomi shir is highly contagious and affects me in a positive way. Finally, I want to wish all of us Mazel Tov and hope to be affected by Daf Yomi and all our Limud Torah. Thank you.
For our next speaker, Eli wants to introduce himself.
All right, I just spontaneously, I figured, I spoke about the people that it's the first time making a siyum. I forgot to mention, these are kids that it's their first siyum, and it's extremely emotional for me to be the one to teach some of these kids their first Masechta ever. You know, there was Yudah Tzvi, Seltzer sits right next to me every single day. And there are a couple people in the shir, the people in charge of the shir are chasing him away. They say, hey, you can't come late, you know, you're on camera, and you gotta sit like this, and you gotta sit like that. They make him a sugar. And it turns out, just in the last week, I received 3 mails about Yehuda Tzvi. People told me, and somebody told me this morning, somebody from Baltimore, he's not here today, he's sitting in the back over there, he's not allowed to be here. He said that he was so inspired to see little Yehuda Tzvi come every single day, that he's mechayev the adults. And then you have Akiva, who happens to be my wife's best friend's son, who is a tremendous inspiration. Almost every single day, he comes over to me to ask me a good kasha learning after shir. He drives David Meshuga. It's in the middle of Shachris, he's still talking to me and learning. And it's a tremendous inspiration. And one of the most inspiring children that we have, I don't want to single him out, but he happens to be the youngest child that I know that's making a Siyum Masechta. He's only 8 years old, and the kid has a brain like you cannot believe. He asks kashas better than most of the adults in the shir, sorry to say. The kid's a genius. The kid comes when his father is on trips in Chutz La'aretz like he is tonight. He came last night. He came over to me after the shir. He goes, you said that Kloidayim, they told Rabbi this, maybe. He said, but it's not true. In a different Masech it says Kloidayim, you can't trust them. I didn't know what he's talking about. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Guy knows Kol Atari Kul already. Anyways, with that, I just want to introduce the youngest member of the shir, 8-year-old David Factor. Stand on the chair.
Hi, Mazel Tov to everyone here. My name is David Factor, and I am 8 years old, and I am in Beis Eliyahu Kita Gimel, and I am the Daf Yom Shir of Rav Eli, together with my father. And people was asking me, why did you want to come to learn the Daf Yom Shir? So I told them that I went to the Siyum Berachos, and I was interested to go to the Daf Yom Shir because it was interesting at the Siyum Berachos. So I went with my father to the Daf Yom Shir, and I was thinking that it was like a big iroa and I decided that I went to the Daf Yom Shir. I even wanted to finish the Shas, and like that I came to the Daf Yom Shir of Rav Eli, and I didn't think that my parents would really think that I'll wake up every day at 6 o'clock to go to the Daf Yom Shir. And then I didn't think that my parents were serious that I will go to the Daf Yom Shir, and my parents thought I went to school like that was serious. And I was getting the and every morning at the Daf Yom Shir, and I was thinking like the kids, because that you get the best hot cocoa in the whole Daf in the whole Ramay with Shemesh. One word I wanted to say that advice that I told my mother when I was missing days, I told my mother it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. Thank you very much for allowing me to say the shir, and thank you very much to Rav Eli for the shir. And we'll continue like this and finish the whole Shas.
The boys can all come up now and get their watches.
Let me see. Who wrote this? You yourself?
The last speaker was translating his words on the spot as he was going. He was actually translating from Hebrew. Yeah, just another sign of his great mind. And now he'll be serving our second course and then the keynote speaker.
Daf Yomi. You should come to the Daf Yomi.
Okay, our next speaker, everybody please sit down. The waiters are going to be serving soup now. So our next speaker, he's definitely come the farthest this evening, along with a few others who flew a very, very long way to join us here tonight. It's not his first time here with us. I actually had the pleasure of eating breakfast with him, me and him. He told me about his father. And as everybody knows, great things don't happen in a vacuum. A person doesn't just spring up at tzaddik. A person doesn't just grow up to be a gadol. As my Rebbe always says, gedolim, blacks gedolim. It's not by itself. And therefore, it's not a chiddush. Once I heard the history of an official from an official catering from Baltimore, I understood how such a great person came to be. He told me that his father was a great person, a person that Kiddush Hashem around the world, especially in his time in the army. And therefore, it gives us great pleasure to introduce one of our initial members from outside of Eretz Yisrael, a person with a lot of great ideas, a person who not only talks, but actually does. He said in the email, why don't we use the shir? He's a caterer, and he said, why don't we play the shir to show it at Simchas during Chasanas when there's downtime? And he didn't just say that, he actually did it. And he set up places to see the daf in halls where he does Chasanas. Without further ado, everybody please give a warm, very warm welcome to our friend from Baltimore, official Gross.
Off a script here. It's such a wonderful event. What was the name of our?
I got it up.
David Factor.
David, you have to realize you're gonna have to wait till you're 15 to make a Siyum Berachos, okay? So, unless you go to do a couple blood a day, but I think you're doing great. Baruch Hashem. Just the Simcha is so palpable over here. Just like I notice things, and just when some of the mothers or husbands or grandmothers came to film their shasiyid dancing, etc., you can see the glow from the mothers and from the wives, etc. It's natural. It wasn't a pose here, that smile, that, it was just an emstika, simcha, and I'm just so happy I was able to make it. We learned in brachas, there's a lot in brachas. Paisim b'chvay d'chsanya. I see now we're having a fleish gesuda. Otherwise I would say paisim b'chvay lasagna. But Baruch Hashem, it's a beautiful meal so far. And b'chvay d'chashver rabbanim, and Rebelli's family. Rebelli gets his own accolades daily. He doesn't need it here for me. But having met his father's Gesund at the bris and having met some of his family members, I see that Rebelli is a composite of his family's influences. I edited the part about the pickles and the cucumbers. I had to cut down my time. I want to wish a bracha to Rebelli's family that he should be zeicha to let Yamush Pipicha Mipi Sarachim Bizazracha Amar Shemi Atavidalam, and that goes for everybody else over here. And the many people who, from my perspective, make this Daf Yomi possible, which sometimes, I'm told, may be taken for granted. Rabbi Yosef and his team, who work tirelessly every day, 24/6, he gets a different shiurim out in a sundry of formats and announces a 10-minute warning, usually while we're still on top of him at base. Especially Yashikayach to those responsible for making the share available on Torah Anytime. It's not just Torah Anytime, it's another conduit, which can now be easily downloaded before a trip, where Wi-Fi may not be available, and can be accessed without having to go through YouTube. It's a very chashuv thing that was done, whoever's responsible for it. And when you had this Torah Anytime folks come here, they started with the daily dose. I started getting it, I'm sending it to family chats. It's a wonderful thing. Thanks to Yeshua. Anyone know who Yeshua is? Who serves as a construction manager, barista, that's a good word for little coffee drinkers to learn, and goodwill ambassador to boost participation in the largest RBS Daf Yomi. If you ever had the opportunity of spending a little time with Yeshua, like going to a store or walking, he, I don't want to use the word, but it's as close as we can get, harasses people to get the wife said the husband, your wife wants you to go, he's doing an iron and Cohen deal, he's doing all kinds of shit, whatever it is, it's obviously working. So I think we're big happy to share. I want to thank my wife who supports all the learning in our family. She very much wanted to be here for the Siyum, and she would have felt at home over here. After following online the Daf Yomi, when I came here a month ago, I was amazed to see how many new and old friends I have in this year. Dr. Levitan is here tonight, who I haven't seen in 30 years, was very involved with his wife in our shidduch. Stanley Fireman, who's somebody's father-in-law, who was my schoolmate from Hill Academy in Pittsburgh 50 years ago, who now sent an email in, and he's joining the Daf Yomi. He's got started on Daf Yomi. We go back a long, long time. It was nice to bump into Avi Kaminsky, who I've heard through the broadcast, but I recently met him on our home turf in Baltimore at a shiur, Rabbi Fran's shiur, and we took him around a little bit. And of course, all the chashuv coffee drinkers of the junior division. It's not just hot cocoa. There's a lot of coffee. Every night when the Daf Yomi is going on, sometimes after midnight, now I'm finding out it's going to be later because of the clock change, whatever. I check in with others who are part of the global community, of whom I am a self-appointed spokesperson tonight. For participants from all over, from South Bend to South Australia, from Manhattan to Malaga, that's Spain, Muncie to Manchester to Malibu, Vilna to Williamsburg, and we don't have anyone, despite the discussion from Chardonnay. They want champagne on Chardonnay, so maybe they are, but they're shy. The amount of people following the shiurs is amazing. Well, it's a great, I can do a little plug for the shiur. Well, it's a great opportunity to sponsor for a yard site. And if you don't have a yard site, do it in honor of your parents. The most important thing one can have. That shouldn't be an excuse not to sponsor. The most important thing one can do, as Relly has mentioned more than once, is to get another person on the learning program. Baruch Hashem, I've got numerous people hooked, including some staffers of ours, and even my mechanic, Danny from Harris Automotive. It's a shout out for Danny Harris. Great mechanic. It's good to have him as a neighbor. This is a great product, and a good product is easy to sell. That's one of the first rules of marketing. You need to have a good product to sell. In Yonah Yoma, we know that Rekiva, who would start off with the middle B'Techusa when his Talmidim were dozing, asked how Esther was to rule over 127, Medina, Sarah, etc. I'll leave that for the Rabban to discuss. But I see how Relly follows suit in his own way. He and his followers, I don't know if it's the smoke-filled room or, his apparatchiks, whatever it is, they understand the importance of reading the emails, of singing and smiles. Although there may be some who question its value, nothing succeeds like success. It's working. Keep it up. Don't change it. As Ravelli mentioned on Friday, all Daf Yom Yishurim, or almost all Daf Yom Yishurim, start very strong. It's almost like a canard, it's like a joke already. Oh yeah, we got 80 people here, we got seats here, and then, I don't know who the gentleman brought it down to him, Zuman, and then there's some attrition, long attrition. The Hefech, this Daf Yom is gaining momentum with upward trajectory. Baruch Hashem should continue to grow. I'm directing this following comment to the Am Shevasadas, the people who just listened to the advice and didn't take a plane, whatever it is. If you've ever come across a chutznik, a baggage claim, whose suitcase gives off a strange aroma, which you may even have to make a bracha on, chances are high that he's bringing Folgers for Yoshua. And if you're looking for a particular day, but I'm not sure which daf it was, here's an easy algorithm to calculate. Scrolling through the shiurim, find the most recent video with a picture of Reb Eli wearing a tie. That's Motzi Shabbos. And then count up or down from there. It's easy to figure out if you want to chazer daf. It's amazing how with just a little attention, the daf comes to life in my daily activities. Recently, as the staff of the catering business was putting olives on the pickle trays, I noticed the jumbo and the regular size olives, and now I know that regular olives, kazayas, are not really a kazayas because you have to displace the pit. That's why they made jumbo olives, so you can have a kazayas comes to life in the kitchen. Additionally, we went through the very complicated sugya of possible bekisnin. When you are given a mezainis roll on a flight, for example, for out-of-towners at least, when I say out-of-towners, I mean outside of New York, the post can tell us that if you're kaveh suda, on possible bekisnin, it will be hamotzi. Other communities are more makel, but this is the sugyas that we're learning. Another example where it comes to life or came to life, exactly a week ago, was last Sunday night. We catered an event where we had people sitting in different rooms. And because we happened to have a staff member who's a shasid circulating between the rooms, if necessary, he could have been mistar of the tools for Zimun. As Mayor Shapiro projected, many daily conversations should or will revolve around the daf. Something I see just sitting around, oh yeah, the daf yomi last week, etc. For the famous sugya of the bus tour, the rest stop, the misbenching, and the gold dove. Hopefully everybody knows that. Eli brought that point home. He brought it to life. The gold dove, camel, etc. But yes, bus driver, turn around. I don't want to turn around. I'm on a schedule. Hashem is everywhere. Let's go back. And Eli challenged the audience. Did this ever happen to you? And everybody's kind of looking if they have any gold doves, if they remember. And Eli brought it home. He said, a gold dove, you just had an anicle. You just had a child. You just made a shidduch. You flipped the house. We just have to open up our eyes to notice the good Hashem constantly bestows upon us. Coming here, I looked for the tickets a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I'm not a super career. I happen to have a lot of points, so I take points, and I use it to fly United Alliance, Star Alliance, and it goes through Europe. But looking at the schedule, tonight, the way the mayor set up the schedule is Erev Tainus Esther. So if I took the flight at 5:30 in the morning, I'd have an extremely long Tainus. an extra 7 hours of time. I wasn't going to do that. The only flight shy was a flight I hope to have tonight from El Al. But then, fine, I told my travel agent, I'll take the Europe, United, cheap flights, like free practically, and I'll take the El Al back. He says, no, El Al, you pay for one way, you pay for 2 ways. Fine, so it's a little more money, it's fine. Had I taken those other tickets, I would not be either be able to come or I would have gotten quarantined. So that's just a little gold dove, extremely easy to see. On a personal note, I have a confession to make. I've been attending Daf Yomi on and off since the 1970s. Many people weren't even born here. When Chaim Gibber Shlita was teaching, I think we're learning Zikin, Daf Yomi, during a summer ban Zmanim in Baltimore. However, I had never completed any particular Masechta, day after day, blood after blood in the Daf Yomi cycle, not the Daf and not the Yomi, until today. Although I've celebrated many Siyum Berachos in the past, it was more of celebrating with the klal, or playing the role of Abaye, who would make a suit and a yontif anytime someone finished a Masechta. In the anticipation of this past Siyum Berachos, like many, I was encouraged to take another shot at it. And before Bracha started, I found out about the 8-minute daf, the chazara, the preparation. I did whatever I could to encourage myself, and replayed the video of the Siyum Berachos several times. I was inspired by my 10-year-old grandson's classmate in Lakewood, who, despite undergoing many medical treatments, worked hard to make a Siyum Masechta. And I was truly in awe of the gentleman with ALS, who only through using eye movements with a computer was able to Messiah Shas. With the help of my son Simcha, who I learn with every day, who's managing the business right now so I could come, oftentimes very late after Chasna, while the staff is busy stacking chairs, we're busy hopping in the daf. Listening to the full daf, an 8-minute review, makes me so much more prepared. We're almost done. A few weeks ago, I was in the supermarket, it was Thursday, to pick up some last-minute items for Shabbos weekend, the hotel we were catering. Waiting in queue, I noticed in horror that the lady in front of me had about 30 bags of assorted vegetables, and the cashier appeared to be new, very new on the job. As patience has never been one of my top virtues, normally I would have been quite annoyed, to say the least. This time, though, I pulled out my phone and listened to the entire 8-minute podcast. Just as I finished, it was my turn, and those 8 minutes spent reviewing were so much more enjoyable than 8 minutes stewing. As an advertising aficionado, I want to comment on the logo, the 8-minute logo. 8 is a calculated number. It's Lamala and Derchateva, and it's a very palpable chunk of time. 5 minutes or 10 minutes means nothing. Oh, 5 minutes, I'll be there in 5 minutes, I'll be there in 10 minutes. 8 minutes means there's a cheshbon to it. Also, upon seeing the hourglass in the logo, I'm reminded of, besides Wizard of Oz, I'm reminded of a story I've heard where the Maggid came to give a Musar Shmuz in Kelm. He related in a mushal that the souls at the Beis Olam of Kelm had a 1-hour reprieve to do whatever they pleased. These holy people ascended from their graves and ran to do various mitzvahs. Some went to be Mavakar Chayla, some went to say Tillim, and others opened up Sfarim to Chaparine, whatever zuchis they could. That's the story. But then the Maggid pounded the shtender and exhorted the community. Do you see how much the Alter Kelmers accomplished with just 1 hour? Rabbi Sai, who knows will we even have the hour? Rabbi Say, who knows if we even have 8 minutes?
Official, you nailed it. That was a line. That line. You don't hear lines like that often. Shkoyach. It was worth coming from Baltimore to say that line. I'm just still. I am too. I'm shaking from that one.
Say it again.
Thank you. Let it sink in, everybody. Just sink in. Sink in. We have one more speaker before the keynote speaker. Also, one more short speech. And one of the great things about this year, like I said, there's so many, but one of the great things is the diversity of the members. Baruch Hashem, so many different types of people, so many different backgrounds, so many different levels of education, hashkafas. But one thing in common, one thing that unites every single person, and that is the fact that our lives revolve around the study of Torah, Gemara, the Daf. And again, like I said, one short little speech before the keynote speech. I'd like to introduce Mati, please come up. Mati Middledorf, please come up. Short speech, thank you. It's hard to follow a speech like that. But...
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a special plus to be able to speak and address this group of new and old friends. Quite frankly, it's really not my thing. I can speak about security. I can speak about web dev. I can speak about communication technology with Shmuel Heliwat. I can talk about biometrics or medical record data aggregation with Gershon, Gary Moshe, or even affiliate marketing with John Stefanski or Nachum Katz. Or I can even pretend to talk about a little bit about real estate with Ravelli. But not Divrei Torah. I always felt that people should speak about what they're good at. However, Nachman came over to me after the share this morning and said it would mean a lot to Eli if I said a word or two. After what I have gained from Eli in such a short time, there was really no option to say no. So I apologize in advance if my 2 or 3 or 10 minutes are not in line with the typical Dvar Torah. I'm just joking, I'll be too, don't worry. I grew up in a great home, great parents and siblings, went to typical yeshivot. I was close with many of my Rebbeim. I'm still close to some of them today. However, Gemara and learning was never my thing. I struggled with it tremendously. I fluffed my way through elementary school, high school, and yeshiva. I always had a distaste for learning, especially Gemara. I'm not going to get into all the psychobabble if it's because it was forced upon us or if it was taught in a non-proper way or a non-exciting way. It's irrelevant. It simply wasn't for me. It didn't talk to me. I did what I did to make my parents happy and to get passing grades. From the day I finished yeshiva, other than studying with my boys a bit, I never really opened the Gemara, or for that matter, virtually any sefer. About 7 years ago, I watched Siyum Berachos, and for about 4 minutes, if that long, I was inspired. I told myself it was time to start learning. However, work, life, and did I mention work, all took priority, and the concept got sidetracked quickly, and as time went on, it became long forgotten. Every so often, it would pop up in a share here and there, but virtually nothing. About 2 months ago, it was the Siyum Berachos. Nachum Katz tried getting me to come to Binyan Yoma. He said he'd get me VIP tickets. But honestly, I looked for excuses not to go, and ultimately decided not to, and not to stay home and watch it online. Watching tens of thousands of people all across the globe, all colors of shirts, yarmulkes, nali shoresh, dress shoes, hats, no hat, even a Waldo, get together for something that I wasn't part of, being on the outside got me thinking. Additionally, I have a beautiful svarim shelves at home, full of articles, Gemaras, Mishnayos, and many, many other svarim. These heads stare at me every Shabbos in Yom Suda, every morning when I come down. My friends walk in and Kibbutz said they look brand new, and I just time to dust them. I would always joke it off, but as time went on, it got me thinking. And I have a 20-year-old son in the Army, I have a daughter in Shirut, I have kids in high school and elementary school. Time is moving, life is short. One of my best friends and partner, Shlomo Zakheim, passed away at a relatively young age from leukemia. A neighbor and friend passed away from sarcoma a couple of years back, and another very good friend of mine beat cancer and is Baruch Hashem better. Life is unpredictable. No one knows what tomorrow brings, and figure the time is now. Around the same time, I met Yeshua in Best. He gave me a card for the 8-minute daf, and he said, just join. He said, just join. I had no idea who this guy was. He said, just come. I'm like, okay, fine. Anyway, I had no idea who he was, who Ellie was, and what it was all about. I put the card on my desk, and when I was bored on a conference call, I went to check out the site. I mentioned to my 11-year-old son, Chaim, who's over there somewhere, Chaim, yeah, who many of you have met, and I was thinking about starting Daf Online. He was so excited. He said he wanted to learn with me as well, and we started doing it almost every night on the internet. It really didn't cross my mind to go to this year as I'm extremely busy traveling, working, and most importantly, with my family. Then one night, about 2 weeks ago, everything changed. I wrote Ravelli a small WhatsApp just saying thank you. But learning with him the last 2 months is really changing my life. Making Torah learning a priority is having a major impact on myself, my son, and I'm having a spiral effect on the rest of my immediate and extended family, and giving my parents ton nachas. I just want to say simply thank you. Next thing I know, Ellie tired. I go to sleep at 2-3 a.m. every night. I like taking my kids to school, etc., 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 etc. I played the Shir for Chaim where Rebelli mentioned me that morning, and he's like, "Come on, Abba, let's go." How can I say no after that? Next thing I know, I'm at the Shir and I'm addicted. Like Mr. Kornbluth said last week, it's more than a Shir; it's a club. It's our learning family. I don't believe what Eli pulled off could be replicated. His love and dedication and awesome personality makes the Shir what it is. Additionally, for the boys and even for us adults, the fact that Eli is quote unquote a cool guy, successful, makes a fun guy, makes learning and makes a tachlis, makes it part of our lives. And he's really one of us. He becomes a role model for us. He becomes, in every sense, not just in Shas, just in everyday life, from Torah, Parnasa, Chesed, and the definition of a true Ohev Yisrael. After finishing the daf last night, and after the shir, I went over to Eli again and said, "Thank you for my first Sam, likely in my life." Eli gave me a big hug. Don't worry, you both check for corona first. Later last night, late last night, I texted Eli, should I be embarrassed that I sat in front of my son? I did my first Sam at 42 years old. He answered back shortly later. He said he also got a late start. He prioritized dollar and making a living, and that it's never too late, and what we do today is what counts. As I mentioned, I'm typically not a speaker. It's definitely not my thing. I'll read off paper. My reason for speaking is this: to say publicly thank you to Ravelli for showing me when it comes to learning, it's never too late to start, and that hopefully my openness and saying it as it is will have an impact on others to start either in person or virtually. So here it is. My name is Mati Hildorf. I'm 42. I'm making my first Sam alongside my 11-year-old son, Chaim, and we plan on doing this on a regular basis for the next 7 years, along with all of you, and of course with Ravelli. Last but not least, I want to thank my wife and amazing kids for letting me do this. Without their support and getting out early a.m., this would never happen. Chaim, where are you? A special shout out to Chaim for getting me out of bed every single morning and helping me prioritize my life and realizing what's important. Chaim, come here. This is the way it makes it all happen. Oops. My hope and bracha to all of us is that the achdos, the unity, and what we experience each morning remain with us throughout every day and should be felt in our homes, our work life, in good times, and be a drive to get us through tough times. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Ravelli.
Corona in, Corona in. Two points before I introduce the next speaker. Point number one, I just want to give a shout out to the man standing at the back of the hall. He called me up a few weeks ago and he said, "My name is Leibish," he said. Leibish. Five-ish, he said. Five-ish. And he said, "I'm a Tzioni guy. And I live in Emek Rafayim. And I love the shir." And I said, "Five-ish, are you going to come this Motzei Shabbos?" He didn't come, but he's here tonight. So I just want to give a big ashikayach to Five-ish for coming all the way from Yerushalayim, Emek Rafayim to join us. We're so happy you're here. One other point. It says, we always grew up hearing the idea, the Olam Hafach Re'isi. When we come to Shemayim, those are on top in this world, not necessarily on top in Shemayim, but vice versa. And the more we talk about the stories of people who come to the shir, many times the name Yeshua comes up, and nobody knows. We come to Shemayim, and Yeshua will be sitting in the seat up there at like a throne with like this palace of gold and diamonds, surrounded by like tzaddikim with glowing faces, because of all the people he caused to learn Torah in this world. It's unbelievable what one person has accomplished. Yes, I have to say this. It's not as true.
Where am I? I'm the back.
The clapping is so loud, the light turned on. Ellie wanted to know where is he going to be in Shemayim. That's what he wanted to know. Yes. Okay, moving right along. I'm sure Ellie, you're going to be front row seats. It's going to be amazing. Right next to the Gra. Fine purveyors of Techelis here. Okay, our next speaker is my Rebbe, Reb Nissen Kaplan. And just before he comes to speak, a few words. I know my Rebbe since I went to the Mir Yeshiva. I was 21 years old, and a friend of mine, I didn't know what shir to go to. And I said, where are you? And he said, I'm by Reb Nissen. I said, okay, I'll go to Reb Nissen also. And that's how it started. And we were learning Makas that Zman in the dining room, the last Zman in the dining room before things changed. I still remember the Machlekes with Shlomo Zalman quoting, opening Baal Caps on Shabbos, learning it from a Chavis, opening a Chavis. And since that point, Reb Nissen has been an integral part of my life, and my family, my wife, and my kids. And Baruch Hashem, the Rebbitzin and the Nancy Mishpacha. Now, I want to tell you a story that happened to my Rebbe. Many stories happen to him. Wherever he goes, things happen to him. So he's a magnet, not just Torah, but amazing things. And he told me many years ago, he said that, my Rebbe learns many times, usually Friday nights, the Bacha would come learn with him, and then the Bacha would go back to yeshiva after he learned with him, till middle of the night, Friday night. And there was one Bacha that he become very close. He become very close to the Bacha and learn with him. And then there was one Bacha, and all the Bachim would stay in touch. They would go home, back to America, they'd get married, and stay in touch with Reb Nissen. But there's one Bacha who goes back to America, and he goes to law school. He does very well. He gets that great job, Proskauer Rose, starting salary $150,000, and he doesn't contact my Rebbe, and he drops off the face of the earth. And my Rebbe doesn't know, where have you gone? Where have you been? I haven't heard from you in so many years. And 5 years go by. My Rebbe tells me 5 years go by, and one day the door in the back of the Mir Beis Medrash opens up, and in he walks. And he walks into the Mir Beis Medrash with a blue shirt, shades clipped onto his shirt. And you have to know, it takes guts to walk into the Mir Beis Medrash with a bright blue shirt. It happens to me. If you ever try it, you'll see what I'm talking about. And he walks straight through the Beis Medrash up to Reb Nissen, and he says to Rebbe, Shalom Aleichem. Reb Nissen says, Baruch Mechaya Mesid, where have you been? And he says, Rebbe, we have to talk. And Rebbe says, what are we doing if not talking now? What are we doing? He said, no, Rebbe, I need to talk to you outside. And they go outside, and he says, Rebbe, I'm married for almost 5 years, and my wife and I, we don't have any children. What could we do? And my Rebbe says, he's thinking, and he told me that when he doesn't know what to say, he closes his eyes, and he looks up to Shemayim in his head, and he says, Rebbe Shalom, put the words in my mouth. And then he said to me, I said to this younger man, this lawyer, I said, I have a feeling that something you can do. You used to be a yeshivish guy, you used to be a guy with the Ben Torah, and now you're a good guy, but you don't learn, you're not doing it, you're not part of it. I want you to take on a Kabbalah that you're always going to daven Ma'ariv with a minyan. This is going to crap your lifestyle. It's going to change your life. No more going to the Hamptons. No more going on cruises to Alaska because you don't even know when you could daven Ma'ariv b'chla. He said, I have to ask my wife. Fine. Maybe says, ask your wife. He goes to ask his wife. He says, of course. What's the shayla? Of course. So he goes back to America and he starts this new thing. My Rebbe tells me 9 months later, he calls him from the living room. He says, Rebbe, I have a question. My wife's about to have a baby, and I didn't daven Ma'ariv yet. So what should I do? Should I leave to go daven Ma'ariv with a minyan? What should I do? My Rebbe says, go right now. And he goes, and he comes back. Baruch Hashem, his wife had the baby afterwards. And they didn't know what to call the kid. They wanted to call something with Ma'ariv, but they weren't sure. And Ma'ariv Goldstein didn't sound right. They weren't sure what to call. And then they said, okay, we don't know what name, so we're going to call him after his grandfather, and we'll call him Yaakov. And then they realized, that was the perfect name. And my Rebbe said, I was in America a few months later, and I went to visit this Talmud of mine, and the whole house was different. Like, we learned about the davening in Berachos, and the whole house was different with this. There was a Torah house now. And he said to my Rebbe, I have to tell you what happened to me. Because of what you told me, because not only did my life change, because of this hanhaga and this thing I took on, but I had to go to the Far East on business. A credit card company, some sort of credit card business, and I had a convention in the Far East. So my tickets were booked, my hotel was booked, everything's booked. And then I realized, wait a second, where am I going to daven Ma'ariv when I'm in this country, whatever it was, Singapore, whatever it was? Where am I going to daven Ma'ariv? There's no menu for Ma'ariv over there. So I said, before I cancel my tickets, maybe I'll call up, maybe I'll look for some shuls. So I start going through the phone book in whichever city it was in the Far East. And I'm looking through and I get to this shul and it's the church, and I get to this shul and it's Reform, and I get to this shul and it's not open, and it used to be open and it was open, and finally I said, I don't know what to do. And then I thought, wait, there's Chabad. Why don't I call Chabad? Sure, I should have called them first. So I called the Chabad house in the city. And the phone answers and I hear this guy go, Mendel Geshelovsky speaking. How can I help you? Shalom Aleichem. And I said, Mendel, I need a daven Ma'ariv with a minyan. Do you have a minyan in the Chabad house? And he says to me, Avado. I said, great. He says, yeah, on Yom Kippur. I said, Mendel, I need a minyan for Ma'ariv. What can I do to make it happen? He says to me, I said, and this is what this Talmud of my Rebbe said, what if, he says to the Shliach, what if I give you $500? Can we swing a minyan for Ma'ariv for $500? And the Shliach says, I think we can. What are we going to do? I have an idea. And he puts up signs all over the Far East. Free party in Hebrew. And Israelis come from India, all over the Far East. They come with their backpacks and the guitars, the hookahs and the dreadlocks, the guitars. They're coming, rolling in. Free schnitzel, shawarma, hummus. Gewaldig, a chance to, sing Yerushalayim Shel Zahav together. Anyway, they all come in. And when the Talmud arrived at the Chabad house that night, the Shliach gives a clap. He says, there's a Ma'ariv right now in the shul. And for the first time in many of the people's lives, they went to daven Ma'ariv with a minyan. And afterwards he said, come again whenever you want. We'll try to make it a little cheaper next time. And it was an amazing experience. So he said to my Rebbe, this is what it cost me $500, but it was not much worth it. It was not much worth it. So my Rebbe was so nispa with his Talmud said to him, this is the koyach, the nasa you give it, it comes back to you. My Rebbe said, I was so nispa when I got to the plane to go back to Eretz Yisrael. I said to myself, I can't fall asleep. I have to make sure that I'm with a minyan on the plane. He says, I had a book of Shach, and I said, don't fall asleep. Do not fall asleep. And suddenly I felt my eyes close for a second, and boom, I hear, Aleinu l'shabeach. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I get up and I say, you can't just have my Rebbe Yechidus. Your Talmud paid $500. You have to go, you have to try. So I get up, my Rebbe tells me, and I start walking through the plane. I'm asking people. I say, excuse me, can you daven Ma'ariv? He says, I don't daven on planes. Excuse me, can you daven Ma'ariv? Rav Osler says you're not supposed to daven on a plane because it disturbs the stewardesses. Okay, it's not working. He goes back to his seat, he tells me. And he says, somebody gave me a stack of 20 shliach mitzvah money. This is the way to go. And he goes around, he says, excuse me, can I offer you $20? What? Good morning, sir, $20? Yeah, for sure, I'm coming. Excuse me, can I offer you $20? Oh, sure, no problem. Excuse me, no, $20. Rav Osler says, if it doesn't disturb the stewardesses, you can daven. No problem, I'm coming. He says, within 2 minutes, I have a minyan for Ma'ariv in the back of the plane. And when it's time to give them the money, only one person took it. There's always one guy. Everybody else said, no, it's fine. Thank you for being mizakos to daven. True story. Every detail. Exactly like what Rebbe said. And he said, this is the vart. He was mizakeh his Talmud, and his Talmud was mizakeh him. And this is what's going on every day. When mizakeh, Rabbi Eli is mizakeh us, we're mizakeh him. Without Talmidim, what's a Rebbe? Without a Rebbe, what are Talmidim? And I just want to finish one last nekuda before my Rebbe comes up to speak, and that is the following. When I met Reb Nissen, I asked him that, can I learn with you b'charusa? And then I asked him, can I come to you for a Suda Friday night this week? And I asked him, can we, I made a few bakashas from him. And because what is a Rebbe? What does that mean? It means to have a relationship. But a relationship doesn't happen by itself. A relationship happens because you work at it. And the only way you can have a relationship that lasts is by working at the relationship. And that's the way it's been for me and my Rebbe for the past 20 years. And the same thing applies to what we're doing here. It doesn't happen, the Torah that we learn is a relationship. And that happens because we're with it every single day. It's a relationship that we have with the daf. And that's a big asher koyach to the person who gives the yecholos to everybody here to be part of this. He gives and it comes back to him. And a tremendous asher koyach. And now I would like to invite my Rebbe, Rav Nissen Kaplan Shlita, to address the item.
can't express the special feeling to stand in this Siyum, this new moment, this new movement that is happening in Klal Yisrael. I'm so excited to be a part of it. I will try to speak 8 minutes. I'll try to fit it in 8 minutes. But I want to start with my own Daf Yomi message that I think really applies to here. And from that I will take it to the next step. Tonight is really the special night of Tainis Esther. We're doing a Siyum. And Tainis Esther, that before the whole mess of Purim, we had to daven. And for all of the years, we're going to have these big parties, 2 days Purim. We're going to have a huge party, but we have to have the Tainis Esther to remind us that everything was b'koyach the tefillah. This is really Masech the Berachos, most of it, about davening. So I want really to mention a little story from my Rebbetzin, my last wife, a little bit more from 3 months ago. And from that, the key how to the Daf Yomi. This story happened 3 days before my wife passed away. She was in the hospital already. She had cancer all over her body. The liver was not functioning anymore. Her kidneys was not functioning anymore. She was for full support, the breathing. The doctors came inside and explained that there's no more chance. The reason they had to explain it to her because she had to sign if she wanted they would try a little bit more. And they would explain to her, you for sure will die. Maybe we could do it for 2 more hours, maybe for 3 more hours. But because you're awake, we have to ask you and explain to you that it's for sure you're dying, there's no way to help you, but maybe you want us to try. She asked him, maybe it's 1 chance, maybe it's 1 out of 1,000,000. They said, not 1 out of 1,000,000,000. You don't have a liver anymore, you don't have kidneys, everything was blowing up. We're just counting the hours for you to leave. And we're standing in the room, all of the kids together, and then we want to daven to Hashem, but it's very hard to daven. Because for what we're davening, there's no liver, there's no kidneys. But we know, afilu cherev chada. So all the kids, we take out everyone out of the room, all of our 11 kids and our son was standing inside the room. And I told them the following. We learn in Masech the Berachos and Tfilas HaShachar, Avrom tiken Tfilas Shachris, Avrom was metaken Shachris. We learn it out from the Pasuk, Vayashkem Avrom baboiker. Vayamoy. And he stood, that morning is the morning after Sodom was turned over. And Avram goes over to that place and he looks at Sodom and he sees it's turned over and then he's metaken Tfilas Shachris. And the question is, what is Negeah? What is the Shaykhis? If the morning that's after Sodom was turned over, that is the morning to metaken Tfilas Shachris? And the answer is, Avram Avinu davened all of his life. He thought when Hashem gives a patch, you daven. Like the Ramban. But Hashem told him that he's turning over his life. Avram thinks to himself, why Hashem is telling me that he's turning over his life? What, to know the news? It's enough I have the news of yesterday. I need to know the news of tomorrow? Now the answer is, Hashem wants me to daven. Like Avram Avinu really daven. 50, 45, 40, 30, 20. He wakes up in the morning and he sees that Sodom is turned over. And his davening didn't help. So he wonders to himself, so why Hashem told me about Sodom? He wanted me to daven, but the davening didn't help. Obviously, he wants me to daven not because he wants us to be success, because he wants us to be davening to be close to Hashem. This is a part of our closeness to Hashem. So he got up and he was metaken that every morning when we wake up, we will daven. Doesn't make a difference if we need something or we don't need. Vayashkem Avram baboiker. I said, Hashem told us, he decided to give a patch to the Kaplan family, not to the Seltzers, not to Ellie, the Kaplan. He made your mother, my wife, very sick. He wants us to daven. Not because we have to meet at a davening will be success. So my wife gave her hands to my daughters, and we sat in a circle, all the family, and for an hour and a half, my wife said, Maskila David, Bihoisim Amar Asfila, and like this we davened for an hour and a half. When we finished, the doctors came and they said, listen, in this department, every day, 1 or 2 people die. We hear davening, but was something special in that song
that you said that we never heard. What it's all about. 2 days later, my wife was nifter, and my kids told me, this is a story from yesterday night, this is the reason I'm saying over the story. Abba, this is the way they call me anyways. Listen, we will be the ones to make sure that you will learn the Daf HaYomi. We know, mommy made sure every time, doesn't make a difference if you have to do the Daf HaYomi. Yesterday night, I had a busy day with yeshiva, with my kids. Some of them are scared to die, so they sleep in my bed. It was 1 o'clock by night. I had a very busy day. I took my Gemara Berachos to my bed to learn it. It was a very short daf yesterday. I'm holding in Samach Dalet, and I fall asleep on my Gemara in my bed. I take a big Gemara to the bed. But normally when it falls on you, it wakes you up, yeah? It didn't help. And my daughter, 14 years old, comes in 2 o'clock to my bedroom, and she says, Abba, you did not finish the Daf HaYomi, but mazel tov for finishing brachas. And I started to cry. So this was my little brachas yesterday, little memory, my Rebbetzin. Yesterday, 2 o'clock by night. I want to tell you one thing. La Yehudi moisa oiro zu Torah. What happened in the Megillah, that the Torah got a new name, light. What is the pshat that the Megillah got the new name, the light, the Torah, the oiro? Because in the Golus, we need to have that light. We need to have the shining. The Kotzker Rebbe says, Golus is dark, it's black. If you have a black room full with black, you take bags and you take out the black, it stays dark. I tried it. But if you put one light inside, the whole dark disappears. And the generations that we are all inside, it's not enough to fight the black. It's not enough to push it out. You have to put in the light, and the light makes the fire to go away. Chanukah, we have the candles, and in Purim, we have the light of the Torah. And this what wins. This what makes it to make a change. This is the light of Torah. This special club of Daf HaYomi, run by Rebelli, has something amazing. I was in the Siyum Berachos in America. I was in the Siyum Berachos in England. I was in the Siyum Berachos in Yad Eliyahu. I was planning to go with Hafsader also to the Siyum Berachos in 2 weeks in Russia, but we're not so sure if it's on schedule or not. I want to tell you, it was beautiful, but it was nothing close to the atmosphere that we have in this room. You have a koyach, your oilam here, a passion, a fire, to change Klal Yisrael. And I want to tell you, it's up to you, starting today, Shabbos, if you will carry on and finish Masechta Shabbos with double of the people that you have, this is your job, Yeshua. I know you from years, but I didn't know you're so talented like tonight. I remember him learning with me in the mirror for years ago, and tonight was, wow, this is your Yeshua. Look where he got. You will change Klal Yisrael. Brachas, Shabbos, if you will be successful in Shabbos, the end will be already Memele. It's a avodah of all of us to carry on. You know, it's not such an Yisrael if I'm a Gitshir like Eli. If I would have such a Gitshir, maybe I would also be different. I want to tell you, when Chaim was making the Siyum, I was crying. I made a Siyum Berachos when I was 9 years old. My chavrusa was killed by an Arab girl. His name was Eliezer Schlesinger. We learned Berachos together, and then an Arab girl shot him and killed him. And it was like when he made the Siyum, the 8-year-old boy finishing, I remembered my chavrusa. You know, he was not zeichet to get married, he was killed. But this was my first experience of the Siyum Berachos. But you have something special. I was 2 weeks ago in America in a Shabbos of Project Inspire. And some people told me, you know about this Dafayemi 8 minutes Chazara? I said, how do you know about it? So there was another table asking, everyone in the room knew about it. Where I went, when Nachman called me, told me to come to this place, I'm not so much online. Yeah? I don't know how to walk in the life. Yeah? So I don't know. But he called me when I was in the States, and I started to ask. And I said it's one of the most popular things that exists today is this Siyum, this 8 minutes, this Tafayomi. And everyone was saying how he emailed, he answers, and it's back, and it's first, it's happening. But till I came and I saw the Olam, and I see the fire, the energy, and your eyes, this is really the koyach of this movement to change. The way in the Golus time is oiro, learning with excitement, learning with a chesed, learning with a ava. This what makes it to become atzloche. This what makes it to happen. This what will give it the koyach to be mamshich. Kibu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim, what was Torah be'ava was kibu v'kiblu ha-Yehudim. When Klal Yisrael decided that they're doing it, you only have to understand, if in Maimed Ar Sinai that we said Naaseh and Nishma, we got 2 crowns, and it's considered that we were forced, and it's considered that we did it in a force, and it kof alem har kegigis. How much crowns we get? How much crowns we get when we say Hodar Kiblu b'mei Achashverosh? When people are coming be'ava, no one is forcing them to wake up in the morning. No one is forcing them to come by night. No one is forcing them to catch up. And they're doing it be'ava. Not 1 and not 2. Thousands of crowns come down. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Chazu, Chazu, Boy Chavivai, the Mishtakim Mitzorah Dilei, Ve'askim Bechedva Sodili. This is the beauty of Torah be'ava. And Baruch Hashem, you have this siyata dishmaya, that it's a chabura, that is taken isachet, to do this avas Torah, to do this cheshkas Torah. So there's no shaila, no safek, that if we will mamshich, and we will do Shabbos together, we will be zeiche, be'ezras Hashem, that this movement, this new, I think it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Dafayemi Shir, 2,000 people watching every day. Be'ezras Hashem, we'll finish Masechta Shabbos, we will be the ones that are growing and shining Klal Yisrael. I just want to finish, we started Kisiso. Everyone has to give a machzis shekel. We have Parsha Shkolim, and everyone wonders, what is so special about Parsha Shkolim? You don't say, Parsha Zochor makes sense, Torah also makes sense. Shkolim, we read it, we don't do it, it's not again our days. What is so special about Parsha Shkolim? It's brought down that Moshe Rabbeinu was niskashe in 3 things. He didn't know what it is. The moon, Hashem said, you see the moon? Kazeh Re'eh V'Kadesh. The menorah, he couldn't figure it out. V'zeh ma'isa menorah. Machzis HaShekel, he couldn't understand what it is. V'zeh yitnu al ha'pkudi. Her Eloi chotzi matbea shel eish. And I understand, Kiddush Levana, it's a bit difficult to know everything. The menorah was a bit difficult. What is so hard about Machzis HaShekel? But to figure the numbers, the Rashi and Kiddush in your base, what is so hard to figure about Machzis HaShekel? The Sforim explain that the Goyim are considered kash. It says, V'hoyo b's Yosef eish, b's Yaakov eish, u'b's Yosef lehova, u'b's Esav lekash. The Goyim are like kash, straw. Nothing inside it. Melech Evyoy. The Goyim don't have nothing inside it. The world is full with hay, full with kash. Moshe Rabbeinu was wondering what a Machzis HaShekel could do. What a Machzis HaShekel could do. How we could win all this Goyim, all this Yitzhak, everyone has it inside him. Herol HaKadosh Baruch Hu Machzis HaShekel Shel Eish. With a little bit fire, you burn the whole Eish. With a little bit fire, the whole hay disappears. When we start the avoid of the 4 weeks, we read the Machzis HaShekel. The fire. It's not about the daf, and it's not about the yoimi. It's about the fire. When you look at Reb Eli and his face, you look at his energy, you look at his eyes and his smile. This what burns everything. This what burns the cash. This what burns what is hard to wake up, what is hard to be consistent. And everyone has to have a Machzis HaShekel. So my bracha is that Be'ezus Hashem B'siyata Dishmaya, this Chabura, this movement that Eli decided to do for Klal Yisrael will go weiter and weiter, and this fire will win the whole cash, and Be'ezus Hashem, you will have Siyata Dishmaya V'atzlacha.
Rav Nissen, maybe Zeichel, just like Rav Nissen, my Rebbe, goes around the world and brings chizik to Gans Klal Yisrael and brings Simcha to Yidden and to Talmidim. Kodesh Baruch Hu should be Malach Hasroinoi and should give him Simcha to him and his family. B'Korav they should go from Yogoin to Simcha together with Gans Klal Yisrael. We're going to be having dessert, a special presentation. Od Ma'at. Actually, here we are. No?
Is your father coming back? We're here for you.
Okay, moving right along as we begin to wrap up the evening. Baruch Hashem, what a beautiful night. And now there's a special presentation. And to this I turn over the microphone to Noam Fix and Avi Kamiansky. Presentation time to the king of the Daf Yomi.
We just a couple more minutes, and then after the presentation, we're going to have dessert, and Rebelli will come up to accept his gift.
And give the night cheer.
And give the night cheer, yeah. What do you? The big question is always, what do you give something? What do you give someone who seemingly has it all? He's got
Covered.
Give him cover. He's got a beautiful home. He's got wealth. He's got a head full of hair. Not that we're jealous. What do you give such a guy? So we realized, Avi and I, that everybody here, so many people, everybody really kept coming over and said, what can we get Rebelli? What can we get Rebelli? And we know that Rebelli, the most important thing to Eli is really just spreading the daf further. the biggest gift we could give to Reb Eli is to help him spread the word and spread the daf via his shir, via a different shir, via somebody else's shir, but really via his shir. So we decided to invest a little bit, and we got him a tremendous banner that's going to be posted and put up on the Merkaz Daf Yomi building for all to see. It keeps opening, and it keeps opening. Come around. Hold on, we're not done. I'm sorry.
Pick it up.
Show it on this side.
Pick it up. Pick it up.
Let's bring it over so Representative Stefanski can be nice and embarrassed.
Let's go to the ladies' side.
Yes. You need a lot more room on the ladies' side. Hold on, we're not done. We're just getting started. So that was step one. Then, you want to announce the next piece? Okay.
And then we realized that the problem is you would only see this if you were on Nachal Noam. So we decided to make a few copies for Yoshua to run around with. These copies are going to be posted tomorrow all over Ramat Beit Shemesh. But then we were worried that Ramat Beit Shemesh was probably not enough. And
we know that Reb Eli thinks very, very big and very globally. And Ramat Beit Shemesh is too small a town to house such a big personality. So we decided we're going to take it one step further, and we rented 5 buses that will be going around with the 8-minute logo and this big flag. 5 buses will be traveling around Beit Shemesh, Ramat Beit Shemesh for a month, advertising the daf and advertising the logo. And we have a special deal. Whoever can take a selfie with these buses over the course of the next month, the most selfies with these buses over the course of the next month, they're going to start running tomorrow. This is not Purim. This is real. This is actually happening. Rebbitzin, you're included in this. If you take the most pictures with these buses, you get a special seat in the middle. In the middle table. If you don't have a smartphone,
Use
too
a
bad.
Use a regular camera.
Mazel tov. And with that, Reb Eli, the mic is yours.
Wow. Wow. Hashem has a special sense of humor. 25 years ago, my wife remembers this, nobody else. My shver was coming to Israel. And I decided to welcome him. And I put up Pachkivilin, you know those big giant signs that somebody died? All over Yerushalayim. The Meshver is coming to Yerushalayim, and there was one on the front door of the Mir Yeshiva, the main building, for 3 years. Nobody ever took it off. And this is the Nakama. This is the Nakama. Rabbi Isai, I know you guys think I love this stuff. I don't. Talk it into yourself. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's amazing the amount of effort that people put in. The thought is what counts. The present sucks, but it's the thought that counts. No, Yishkoyach, really, thank you. If one person joins the shir, it's worth all the gaiva. I'm willing to take that gaiva. You're laughing as if I'm not on of. Great. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the team. There's a tremendous amount of work that goes behind the scenes. Whether it's Noam Fix, who ran the whole Siyum tonight, a beautiful, beautiful job. Thank you, Noam. Avi Kamiansky, right there with him. Nachman Seltzer, lining up the speeches. I've never been at a Simcha that had speeches from beginning to end without a second break, but they were all very entertaining. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It was beautiful stuff. I need to thank my wife, who she sacrifices the most. I had an argument with her literally 2 days ago. She says she doesn't do anything. She doesn't prepare for the shir. I said, no, it's you. She says, no, back and forth. My chavrusa told me she's just messing with me. She wants me to say how much it is her, the kids her. But at the end of the day, somebody over there should go ahead and convince her that she really does sacrifice a tremendous amount for the shir, and she has a tremendous amount of schusim. My kids think I don't care about them, so I'm not going to speak about them. They're the best. They also sacrifice. One day, I'll be a real dad. I'll have more time. We'll find some fill-ins. I have to thank Yeshua Aaron Price, an amazing, amazing human being. Without him, we wouldn't be here tonight. From the very first day, he stood outside Chaniche, grabbing random people. The weirder they looked, the better it was for him. But Baruch Hashem, we only have normal people in the shir today. Givaldic. Thank you very much, Rabbi Yeshua. Yeah, he's a little embarrassing. It's true. You go with him in the street, he just walks over to random kids, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, the daf. Unbelievable. So no, it's a tremendous. We could all learn tremendous amount from Yeshua. What one individual achieved. It's unbelievable. So it's Yeshua. You have Gershon Ben Moshe, who puts in tremendous amount of work. He's not here tonight. He's not feeling well. He has corona. You also have Biliak, who sends out the daf 2-3 in the morning. You can see he's still up, sending out the WhatsApps. Yisachar, where's Yisachar? Is he here tonight?
There he is.
Yisachar, Shkoyach, wow. Also a tech guy. You have the Seltzer boys every single day. They go up into the gallery, do all the video stuff. Who am I missing? Menachem Mata, the film Magid Shir, Reuven Chait, the editor of the 8-minute video. I have to say shkach to his wife. I knock on the door sometimes 12 o'clock in the morning. I said, here's the video, start working. And she's like, what? This is for Erev Shabbos. Hello, it's Erev Shabbos. I said, no, you don't have to learn Erev Shabbos. And she looked at me like I was nuts. But yeah, even Erev Shabbos, we produce videos. I have to thank every single one of you. Really, as I said, I think it was, when was it? This morning, last night. Every single one of you, you inspire me. Without you, I wouldn't do what I do. So every single one, literally every single one has a tremendous schos, a tremendous part of it, and I really am very makar tov. And I want to speak about, sure, clap for yourself, that's gaiva. I want to speak about the women of the shir. We know that it's very difficult, as has been mentioned, to send your husbands out. It's not the greatest time in the day. 7:15 in the morning is when kids are getting ready, carpools, etc. Everybody's making sacrifices. And without the women being a big part of it, understanding that their husbands become better people, they become better people, their husbands are better fathers, better husbands, better Ovdei Hashem. Without that understanding, we wouldn't be here. You know, I'm a Gronik, and I constantly mention the Gra, so I figured my son-in-law gave me this. It's a famous thing, but it's a beautiful... I want to show you what we do in cheer a little bit for the women. We have these pieces of paper. Over here it says Kuf Lamed Nun. For no reason really, but Kuf equals 100. But but the way you spell it is Kuf Vav Pei. Vav and Pei equals 86. No relationship to Kuf. Same thing with Lamed. Lamed is Lamed Mem Daled. Mem and Daled are 44. No relationship to 30. Nun is Nun Vav Nun. Vav and Nun is 55. No relationship to the actual letter. Says the Vilna Gaon, if you take the word Siyum, Samach Yud Vav Mem, that's what you see. But how do you spell it? Samach, Mem Chaf. Mem and Chaf equal 60, the same as the letter that you see. Yud is spelled Yud Vav Daled. Vav and Daled equals 10, like the Yud. That's the hidden part. How do you spell Vav? Vav Vav. So Vav obviously equals Vav, 6. Mem, again, is Mem. These are the letters in the Aleph Beis that the hidden part represents the part that you see, Siyum. So when it comes to Siyum, Siyum is the men. They come to learn every single day. But these are the hidden people, the women, who have just as much schar, but even more schar. As the Gemara says, Akiva brought down the famous Gemara, Nashim b'may Zachyon, and over the Gemara says that they send their husbands to learn Torah. They are zoicha to more schar. Why more schar? Because when the husband tells you he's going to learn, he's really sitting there kibitzing, he's enjoying his coffee half the time, he's spacing out sometimes. They go for 45 minutes of learning, but maybe they're only learning 40 minutes. The women get the schar for the full 45 minutes. That's how they explain it. So, since I mentioned the Gaon, and our shir is all about diversity, and we have Misnagdim and Hasidim, we have Lubavitchers and Breslovers, we have YU guys and Mizrachniks, and all sorts of types of guys, and it's a big shalom pot, like Avi likes to say, it's the, what do you say? United Nations, he says. So I felt it's appropriate, I've never done this before, but I'd like to quote the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The first one, the Balatanya. I saw a beautiful word from him. There's a famous Gemara that says that somebody that learns 100 times, chazers 100 times Gemara, is lo yavadoi. He's not serving Hashem. And a person that learns and chazers 101 times is avadai. He's serving Hashem. I personally try to learn a Masechta. I only achieved 30 chazars, and it took me hundreds and hundreds of hours. I'm trying to get to 40, and it's not going. Imagine learning something 100 times. I don't know if there's anybody in this room that learned the Masechta 100 times. I doubt it. Maybe there is. Maybe Mechavrusa, who knows? Which, by the way, I have to really thank Yedidia Kramer. Unbelievable. Tzaddik Mister, a guy that knows Kala Torah Kula, and he's really a tremendous, tremendous part of the shir. So what's the pshat? The Gemara says you learn 100 times, you're nothing. Lo yavadai. And you learn 101 times, that's avadai. That's avodah. One more time makes the difference. Says the Balatanya, an amazing pshat. And it's so simple, but I think it's so true. It said in the time of the Gemara, everybody used to learn 100 times. That's what they did. When you go out of your comfort zone and you do that one extra time, you go from being lo yavai to avadai. When you get up in the morning when you don't want to get up, it's hard. All of a sudden, that's avadai. When it's easy and it's geschmack, and it's there and whatever, and you learn, no, that's lo yavadai. When it's hard and difficult, and the message is that we're going to have Masechta Shabbos now. It's not as geschmack maybe in certain terms. You don't have that Agadita, all the great stories. Rabbi Akiva died, and this one shot this one, and he took his, remember that one? He tied his 2 feet to 2 trees, and poof, and his body split in half, and that was great stuff. Now we're learning real Gemara, Svara. And that's the difference between Lo yavod in avodah. Remember, when you don't want to come to the daf that day, it's not so, you don't want it. That's when you get all the sachar. That going out of your comfort zone. So that was the Kavod Purim. Stuck the gun with the, I don't know, a good thing my father's not here tonight. And I just want to thank everybody again for coming. And Be'ezer Hashem, let's all be here, every single one of you. I don't want to see a single person missing from Masechta Shabbos Siyum. Be'ezer Hashem, B'Korev, Mamish, Amen.
Sing a song.
Everyone together.
Yes.
Is it gaming? Everybody join together the niggin like we do every morning when there's a niggin. Yachad, part of the greatness of the shir is the singing. Yachad.
חזו, 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 בונאי חביביי, חזו, חזו, בונאי חביביי. בחדבו סודי חזו, חזו, בונאי, בונאי חביביי, חזו, חזו, בונאי חביביי. ומשתחים בצערו, בצערו אלוהים,
Rachel, Rachel. Oh, beautiful, Ari.
Okay, got the blowout. You brought me. Got me in. Yeah.
All these people from here watch the share. There's at some point there were 65 people watching. Now there's 47 people watching. Wow.
Before as we begin to wrap things up, big ashakah to our amazing keyboardist tonight, Leo Stein. Woo! Music's ambiance, the ambiance is wonderful, and so many people have spoken words of chizuk, beautiful words. I would like to finish off. We have one more message for a minute, a 1 minute message from Rabbi Yeshua. We'd like to share a 1 minute message.
How long is it gonna be? How long is it gonna be?
I just want to say tonight is amazing. To have everyone here after 2 years of me and Ellie working together. We started this together. Ellie came over to me, let's start this year. And now we have all these people talking about me and Ellie and me. Now there's a team. It's not Ellie and me anymore. There's a team of people. There's 10 of us working 24 hours, 7 days a week, working for this year to make it happen. All of you guys coming here, it's not just me. And everyone knows me in Beit Shemesh. So now I want to say, everyone said it's in the shade. I want to thank my wife. It's already... building. I was not home for 5 months. I built it with Ellie's direction every minute. I was there Yom Valayla, and my wife and my son took it the hardest. And I made sure that we were able. I didn't go to the Rav Nissen Kaplan mentioned me. I did not go to see him in America, as Ellie promised me with a ticket, and I had a ticket before. I didn't go. We stayed here to build this building. We built this family that we have here now. I have 30 more seconds. Everyone that spoke about me spoke more than I'm going to speak now. But now I want to say to the Nishei, we're starting a new thing. I don't know if the team is going to get mad at me. We're starting a birthday program. It's the birthday program. Whenever it's your husband's birthday, you're sending in cakes. We're going to make it happen. I get the balloons, you send in the cakes. We'll have more. There was one this morning. There was one a few days ago. And we'll have one coming up. And there's going to be many, many more. And there's many more people that don't know about the Siyum Beit Shemesh. I don't know if the busing is going to really help. And I did not tell Ellie the secret about the busing, and he said, oh, you're going to tell me the secret. Oh, you said the secret. No, I didn't say the secret, even though I knew last Friday. Erev Shabbos, they told me. I didn't let it go, and I didn't tell Ellie about the buses. Don't worry, Beit Shemesh doesn't know about it, and they will know about it, whether it's through the buses or through me. And we have a team. Hopefully, all of you guys can spread the love of the amen@daf.com, whatever it is. Thank you guys for coming.
Good job. Wonderful. Thank you to our founder and director, for sure.
What's up?
Dessert. Dessert table in the back, and we'll bring you now.
There's a dessert table in the back. Everybody feel free to please take, and then we're going to be benching in a few minutes.
Major hit. Major. Perfect.
Oh yeah, the good
I know. Yeah, we know the good is of it. I know. Yeah, we know the good is of it. I know. Yeah, we know the good is of it. I know. Yeah, we know the good is of it. I know. Yeah, the good is of it. I know. Yeah, the good is of it. The goodness of it. I know. Yeah, the goodness of it. I Big thank you and a welcome to our great friends from Baltimore. All the way from Baltimore here tonight.
Really amazing what you put together here. Amazing, you guys. Fantastic.
Everybody remembers in the beginning of Berachos, we started off the Masechta and we got to Tanya. And I think that was one of the moments that pulled the shir together. I would like if everybody to finish the song together, including our Siyum. with the end of that song. Biyachad, everybody.
The end, the end, the end.
End of the song. Everybody together. We're going to be benching now, everybody. Everybody, please have a seat as we conclude a great night.
Thank you all. Everyone was watching from afar. It was a beautiful Siyum. Next time, you'll be here and you can share with us as well. Be here in person and we'll celebrate it all together. Very, very special members to us. And I'm sure you feel the energy from afar. You'll feel it next time from up close.
Good night, folks.